Just straight out take the Rumble. First pick away. There you go. Smithy, you've got to be grabbing that first up for mTw. So Rumble going to be going their top lane pretty quick and easy. So now it's just a matter of Legion. What are you going to do from here?
Yeah, Legion loves playing Rumble. Cruiser will play it, but then Wild Turtle, when he's subbed in for them, he's actually played it as well. So getting rid of that pick, Rumble is just a strong all-around pick. So we'll see how Balls goes ahead and works with that. Grabbing the TF and the Nocturne, that would be a really exciting comp. Yeah, so they can get that early global aggression. That'll definitely be cool to see what Legion can do with it.
Now, Team Twisted Fate, he's pretty much going to be the champ to watch all weekend. If we remember, we have a TSM Orbit going on at the same time here. We have right there on the first stream, and game number 2, Reggie on TF coming out. I was like, hey man, NA plays TF pretty well, and it's just been a big influx of TF play also coming from the Asian scene because you see him banned all the time over there. That map presence is amazing. The bursts with a little bit of help for your team is more than usually enough to get those kills. Plus, remember, we've also had those changes to DFG. Build that pretty easy himself along with that Lichbane.
Yeah, so we'll see how they're going to transfer out of this. There are a couple of ADs that you might expect to see with this. They could go with the Ashe. Ashe Soraka would be a very defensive lane. I would kind of like to see Noobish play Sona. So hopefully he goes ahead and picks that up. Otherwise, they could be going against an Ezreal Sona lane. That would be very aggressive on mTw's part. mTw, they do have really nice AoE control right now, though. So both Vladimir and Rumble are very strong in their respective lanes. TF has control over a little bit of advantage over Vladimir in that mid lane. So we'll see where they can go from there. But they are going to have to watch out. I mean, right now, mTw, they've been looking very strong recently. Aphromoo, when he was with TSM Evo, he was one of the best AD carries in the game. That still hasn't changed. And now he's back with his former V8 member, Muffin Cutie, and they've been looking very strong in that bot lane.
Afro Cutie? Afro Cutie?
Afro Cutie, that sounds perfect.
Yeah, let's roll with it. Afro Cutie. Well, they're both cuties, really. They both
Legion, Legion actually going to go with Corki and then Lee Sin.
Oh, the
last up for Malphite.
Malphite top.
And Cruiser, he has been playing a lot of Malphite recently. We've seen him be very successful with that in the past. I was kind of looking forward to the Lee Sin, though, because we haven't seen Lee Sin top in a while. And Cruiser, I don't know if anyone remembers, but Cruiser, he used to be one of the first players to play Lee Sin top really big, and he used to do all sorts of crazy videos and stuff. But, yeah, we'll see how that's going to work out. mTw, on the other hand, now, Sono would be a very strong pick. It would help give them that counter initiation. They already have a lot of survivability, but having that kiting, but also that initiation presence onto TF could definitely work out for them. Some of the more aggressive junglers are already banned out, but they want someone that can engage onto TF, and actually Skarner does that very well.
Yes.
So they need someone that TF, his big issue is his short range later on in fights, and he can be unstoppable if you can't get into the back line. However, with the Rumble ultimate and with the mobility that Skarner has, they should be able to take him out of this fight. So that's a really big key there, so definitely enjoying the Skarner pick.
Plus, we've seen this earlier today as well. The Sona Ezreal combo can be very deadly in and of its own, but also Sona, she does have that movement speed buff as well. Skarner doesn't really have that big of a gap to close when it comes to TF, because he's going to be ulting in the middle of these fights. He's just like, in the right positioning if he just manages to just get singled out immediately as he's teleporting on in. It's like, hey, here's a present for you, Skarner. Take it.
Yeah, and that's why split pushing with TF can be very dangerous. A lot of times you look at TF as a split pusher, it will work out, but if there's a fight that's being forced, it can be difficult to find a safe spot to teleport in TF. Either you're going to be too far from the fight and you're not going to be able to help out your team, or you're going to be too close and they can group on you really quickly. But I'm loving the Lulu pick, so definitely a nice pick. We've seen how strong Lulu can be recently, and we'll see how that's going to kind of work. Sona and Ezreal, they have a little bit of a harass advantage. However, Lulu, with the Glitter Lance, that can be very strong, and then it will help protect Corki some. So as the game progresses, having the shield, they can try and not die, I guess is the way to say it.
That's usually a good way to play League of Legends. And it's surprising, like, people can get kills. It's pretty easy to get kills in League of Legends. The real skill is just not dying and making sure that you can actually escape in the thick of things. But also, remember that a very common combo that we've been seeing a lot is actually Orianna Malphite. Yep. But Malphite with Lulu, actually Nocturne the same way, very much accomplishes the same thing.
Yeah, all right. Well, we'll see how they can work. And it will make them incredibly tanky. That's the big thing. Lulu, it's very similar to the Soraka pick, except it's not countered by ignites. So they don't quite have to worry about the fact that, mTw, everyone just generally picks up a ton of ignites right now. So Lulu, with the shields and everything, can be a very strong pick. We'll have to see. The big thing is if Legion can get early advantages with the TF and Nocturne, and whether mTw can hold off on them. And mTw, they have very safe lanes. Rumble, he can be kind of vulnerable in the top lane, though. So that might be a lane that Malphite can try and take advantage of. But after level 4 or so, as you start getting into the lane, Rumble has enough sustained damage that he can just easily wear down Malphite's shield and chase him down. And every single time Malphite's going to come in and try and exchange damage with a Q, Rumble wins those damage exchanges, just chasing you down with that Flame Spitter.
But do remember, though, he did have tweaks recently. He doesn't do as much as he used to, but it is still a threat. It's just going to take, maybe a fraction of a second longer, which in some fights may actually be the difference.
The big thing that people actually forget about Rumble and those changes is his Flame Spitter wasn't affected in the early damage. He still has that early damage from the Flame Spitter. Right. It scales less into late game, so you're missing out on some damage there, but he still has the Flame Spitter. He took a little bit to his passive, so the passive was hit a little bit, but for the most part, he's not planning on winning the exchanges against Malphite with his passive, because once they get into melee, Malphite has the slow, so he's that's going to be nice for him.
Right.
He's planning on winning it with the Flame Spitter. So we'll see how that's going to kind of work out. Legion, though, taking a really nice stance here. And this is one of my favorite spots when you're on the defensive end. When the enemy's looking to potentially invade, you just set up in this bush. If someone moves in, you have the vision advantage. You can just burst them down really quickly. But for the most part, mTw is comfortable with sitting back. Their level 1 is actually pretty terrible. So both teams, don't have the best level 1. Legion's is actually okay if they want to engage, but
it's too late. Yeah,
mTw just wants to sit back and farm.
And we've seen both styles, both defense modes here coming from both teams. Stuff we've commonly seen. You do have the point defense coming in from mTw. You do have the bush camp here coming from Legion. But it's everyone's playing it safe. Secure your buffs. Everyone's going to be able to get that first one for free, and just make sure that everybody gets to go where it needs to go. You got Cruiser recalling back. So is he? I know he's just standing for a second there. I thought is he actually going to be heading down bot?
Minions have spawned.
Yeah, so he's going to be able to get up in the top lane. That would have been kind of interesting, but actually, Malphite can. What did he start? Well,
he's staying in base while he's going to get his 4th health pot, and he's heading down bot.
Wow.
So we're actually going to see the Corki Lulu make their way up top lane here, and actually got a 4-man pusher from Legion, actually muscling their way in to the blue buff. The ward in that bush will actually see them, but right now mTw, they're a little bit split here, and I think in response they're actually going to be going for the invade on the blue themselves.
Yeah, so really nice place starting off at the race. You have that flexibility where you can transition over the blue. Malphite in this bottom lane, he has been, we've seen in the past, he's been a very safe pick against an AD bot. You don't have enough damage to take him down. He gets some early armor, and it's just there's not enough damage there. A lot of times you can actually start off with a Doran shield and just some regen runes, and you're going to have enough to defend against that lane. But now on the top lane, Balls is in a really dangerous situation because Rumble is already incredibly weak in those early levels, but now they're going to be putting on a lot of pressure, and that's going to be a serious issue for them to try and get him involved in the game.
So we've been seeing the lane switch happen quite a bit lately. We've been talking about that kind of Korean style here, and one of the big objectives here is who can take out that tower first. Who has the advantage here?
Corki definitely has the advantage. And Ezreal, the big thing though is they have to watch out that Rumble can't wave clear, but Cruiser is actually Malphite's a pretty strong wave clear, and that's one of his strengths in that bottom lane. He will struggle a little bit with the range farming, but the fact that he can just walk up to a minion wave and AoE it allows him to stall out pushes, whereas Corki has a little bit more AoE than Ezreal does, so as he gets a couple levels you can push the waves pretty easily. Same thing with Lulu. Lulu can AoE clear those waves, which allows you to push the tower pretty aggressively. So we'll see where they transition from there.
But also remember that Malphite, he is a champ who does have a few mana issues early on. Of course, Rumble doesn't use it quite bit, so he's going to be able to stay in lane and stick around just a little while longer than Malphite can actually. But a lot of more is actually coming in with the Q. Wants to get that fear block down on the Muffin Q. Ignite's going down and does not break the fear tethers. Is in a bit of a bad spot, and there you go. The first blood actually going to be going to Lattimore, but every move is there with the flash over the wall. Can he actually get a kill on the Cruiser? Yes, he will. But Mortis does have the Q. He's got him in his sights. Will Ezreal be able to get away? But Wild Tortoise, the turtle, coming on in. Mandatory Gloves there as well. And the flash over with the yellow card. And Wild Turtle coming on down for a visit and getting that kill as well.
Yeah, really nice follow-up with TF being able to come down there. Vladimir trying to chase him down, but not quite in range. Ezreal with the aggressive flash, so doesn't have that survivability. Skarner, in the meantime, though, coming up in the top, he doesn't really have any kill potential in the top lane. Lulu and Corki would easily win against any gank, so they're going to be very safe, but he can come in and steal some jungle, so he's going to be stealing the golems there. Again, Rumble's a little bit too weak at this point in the game to be able to win these fights, so Skarner, for the most part, doesn't have a strong opportunity to engage, but he actually, it looks like he's going for it anyway.
Nubish is caught out just a little bit, does have the flash out. Flash in response. They want this kill, but here comes Corki. Can't do anything about it. No, Lulu does go down to Demon Wall, and he's taking a huge chunk of damage. Does has a flashback to his tower, and here's the weird thing about that too. Xmithy, as he's going for the goal. Oh, Buff and Cutie down bot lane. Quick engage. Cruiser and Loudamortis together. Wow.
Yeah, really nice job from Loudamortis to get a fight going on down there, but Lulu getting a little bit caught out in the top. And the big thing was that Rumble was able to get his damage. He was able to hit her with the 2 slows. So getting those harpoons, it gave them enough damage. Skarner, his early game damage is very strong. And so Skarner as a jungler, that's one of his strengths, particularly with the red buff. But I'm a little bit surprised they couldn't get out of there.
Well, here's the thing. Skarner going in for small golems. The river, Legion had it warded. They knew.
Yeah. Yeah, very surprising, but we'll see how they can transition out of this. Cruiser does look very comfortable in that bottom lane, though, but, getting those solos, some, quick snowballing potential could definitely be huge. Rumble actually starting off with a Doran, so that's going to help protect him against some of that damage. I would like to thank, though, real quick, we're on the stream here, and we have Fancy Pants McGee from Riot helping us out here with the camera control. He's going to be running things, for us right now, so definitely thanks a lot. I enjoy his name. It's nice.
It's a good name. I like it. It's not too bad. I like it. So, meanwhile, dude, you have Lulu there, top lane, rewarding the river, making sure that they're a little bit more safe this time. Warning Pangs actually going down to Vlad in the mid, but he's not too bad. He's going to be fine for now. But TF, though, in the mid, he's not quite 6 yet, but when he does, he should be very soon after another creep wave or 2. And there you go. Just ding 6. He's going to have that semi-global map presence. Well, Mandatory Glove, he does have to go back. He's going to have to buy up all these. He's got some decent gold that he still needs to spend. But also, look, if you look at Ballzero top lane, he go for the shield first. It's pretty common, actually, on most 2v1s, because you get the extra health, you get that extra armor, and the regen is huge since you're going to be sitting at your tower anyway. You might as well just get some extra regen while you're at it. But it's just a matter of where does he build from there. He could build a second. Sometimes we've seen that, but remember, that's delaying one of his primary items. He needs that revolver to keep that sustain up.
Yeah, and one nice thing about what Legion's doing, sending that 2v1 top, not only do they have the pushing advantage, they already have that turret down pretty low, but Malphite, he actually doesn't need a lot of items, whereas Rumble does in order to be effective in the later portions of the game. TF actually sitting in the mid, but Nocturne is bottom, biding his time if they try and be aggressive against Malphite, or if there's an engage, so we'll see. But Xmithy making his way into the mid lane, he's not level 6 yet, so TF should be okay.
So it's just Xmithy may actually very well be caught out here. Ping's actually going down onto that tri-brush. They know. They have an inkling here. Ward going down, and yeah, Loudamortis, I think, will be spotted here, and he's in a little bit of a jam. Muffin Cutie is actually just right there, right on the cusp, right on the other side of that forest wall, and they know Loud is actually looking for that gank, looking for that kill, looking to ult on in. But now Xmithy, after grabbing that blue buff, he is now 6 on his own, and he can be that much more of a contributor here. The low coming on in, but TF, he's there as well. Wild Turtle trying to get that yellow card, trying to get extra damage on Xmithy as he's in retreat. That is my blue buff. I want it back. But he will run away with it.
Yeah, really nice play, trying to get that engaged, but Skarner is pretty safe early in the game. They just didn't quite have enough follow-up. The big thing is they need Malphite to hit 6, and right now he's really far behind Ezreal and Sona. Ezreal and Sona, with their ranged harass, they're very good at, denying farm, and so you see a lot of the times, Muffin Cutie's actually been zoning Cruiser for a lot of this, so he's been missing out on a lot of experience. But once he hits 6, then they're going to have the damage, where they could definitely pick up some kills down in the bottom lane with the TF, with the Nocturne. That's going to be a serious issue for mTw, and so Skarner is probably going to want to position himself mostly down there. Getting the blue buff, always a good thing. You know, TF is kind of struggling right now, but usually TF doesn't have that many mana issues. The only issue right now is he's low mana and he can't get to the minion waves to recharge himself, and Mandatory Cloud is doing a perfect job of zoning him, just constantly running up, getting off some quick harass damage.
Yeah, you see Wild Turtle with that blue buff trying to get some mana. As he does hit Mandatory Cloud, he does take an ult in response, and actually the second part of that ult actually interrupt him going back to base, but he's like, you know what, let's stick around, let's see what we can do here. I can get another blue card and get a little more mana and see what I can do. The wild card's unfortunately missing the Vlad, but he's drinking that health potion as much as he can. He wants to still be a presence here. He does not want Vlad to get farmed out of control, because a very well farmed Vlad can be a very dangerous thing.
Yeah, as we've seen with Messiah in the World Elite games earlier. You know, we'll have to see. Mandatory Cloud, he is doing a pretty nice job of farming right now. You know, him and TF, they're pretty even. But I don't know, we'll see. Malphite is 6, so that's the big thing, is that, you know, Cruiser's in a position now where they have the follow-up kill potential, and he's actually, they might be swapping lanes. Lulu coming down bot, no. So actually, Nubish is just going to leave Corki up top in the 1v1 against Rumble. And Corki right now, DemonLow, he's 2 levels behind. However, Corki does generally do very well against Rumble. And with the Valkyrie, he can usually get out of Rumble's damage, and they're actually going to be pressuring the Dragon. So they have a pink ward, the Wriggles on Nocturne, they're going to be able to take this very safely.
Yeah, and also the thing too is that you'll usually see, you know, when the support does leave the AD, just because you're not splitting the experience 2 ways anymore, you're going to have a little bit more growth on your own. You're going to soak up more XP naturally for the maze to die around you, and with that, he's going to start to skyrocket just a little bit. We'll see if he can't actually overtake Aftermove, who's actually edging him out in the experience lead. So there you go, DemonLow now just dinging 7. So with Nubish actually leaving is giving Corgi a little bit of time to catch up, but he could be in danger here. You do have X-Smithy not too far away with the ult ready to go, and there's plenty of damage on balls. With 2 ults combined, just Skarner and Rumble, you throw down all of that AoEs, I'm gonna drag you through it.
Yeah, Mandatory Cloud actually getting some nice harass once again onto Wild Turtis. That's going to be a serious issue. X-Smithy, actually, he has a potential for an engage on Loud Immortus. Will turn out of there, so not going to force it. But he's been very safe so far. And X-Smithy, he's keeping a nice eye on the map, just making sure that he allows the rest of his team to win their lane matchups, which they've been doing so far. Rumble, you know, he's not quite as far behind as Legion might have hoped. Cruiser, you know, he's decently far behind. But in the meantime, Lulu and Corki are set up top, along with Nocturne coming in, and he's not going to be caught out by a ward fast enough.
Nubish is done on his grand journey. He's coming back home, coming back to the top lane. Balls is at kind of a bit of a loss here. He's like, do I go out? Do I farm? Do I want to stay here? He's figured something up.
Oh,
you know, Mandatory Cloud in the mid. Vlad does manage to get chunked out, but here comes the Impale down onto Wild Turtle. X-Smithy, it will be enough. The ultimate trying to get away. Wild Turtle will not be able to get it.
Yeah, so he does go down, X-Smithy with the follow-up, but, you know, it's generally an even trade. MTW does come out a little bit ahead because they get the assist, but, and actually because they're going to be able to take down this turret, so no one to defend it. There's 3 people top, they're going to take it pretty easily. Legion will be able to grab this top turret, so just a shield on the Loud Immortus, and he can grab that, but they're going to lose mid for it, so kill going down onto Vlad, they lose the tower. That's going to give MTW a lot of map control.
Muffin Cutie, good tanking, but Cruiser getting a little bit of free damage down bot, so lots of good exchanges. Tower for tower there, top lane for the mid. Not too bad. You're keeping the... Oh, there you go. Loud Immortus does get very low, though. Balls with a sufficient amount of damage with Loud Immortus. Just barely 39 health will actually live off of that Ignite.
Yeah, just not able to finish up on it. I think that Balls, he probably could have held on to it a little bit longer and forced that. Ezreal, in the meantime, chasing down Cruiser. He does have that phage, so he can slow him a little bit. Cruiser should be safe, though. He has plenty of armor. He's got plenty of distance, so he's going to be able to Q back out of there. So he will be pretty safe. But now, all of a sudden, MTW, they can pressure the bottom lane once again. They haven't, you know, really put a lot of damage onto the turret, but with Sona coming up, with Skarner here as well, they should be able to take down this turret.
Along with the Ezreal ult, which is, in and of its own, a fantastic wave-pushing tool, as well as, like, well, you know what, that wave is completely gone. You're going to be under a lot more duress here. Mandatory Cloud, as he's re-entering the mid, does get Glitter Lance, does get harassed. He's pretty low, but then again, it's Vlad. He can regen, it's fine, it's cool. Just, you know, get a few Qs off and you're back at full.
Yeah, so we'll see how Legion can try and build on this lead. mTw later on in the game, their team fight potential is just incredible. And having the double AP works out very well against Malphite. That's generally how you're going to deal with him. One is champions with lots of survivability. They have that with Sona, Ezreal, and Vladimir, but then from their mobility. But then also having that double AP, your damage goes through pretty easily. That double AP is also going to work very well against a champion like TF. And being able to put on that pressure could be a serious issue for Legion once they get into the team fight stage. However, they do have some nice control over the game early on. Yeah. But because mTw has a little bit of a push advantage, it slows down Legion's aggression. So because Legion doesn't really have complete map control, they can't abuse the TF and Nocturne picks like they would like to.
Yeah, their ward coverage is very selective. Like you noticed, as they were attempting that dragon, the ward coverage is going to be knocking down as accordingly. But a big part of the ward coverage is Nubish and Laudomortis, and unfortunately, Lulu is out. Does have to go back by a few more of those. But that's the thing, though. Now top lane is a little bit unprotected, and DemonLoL as an AD needs that coverage. He needs that vision. He needs to be safe. Granted, yeah, he does have the Valkyrie. He does have a lot of stuff like that. But remember, you got Rumble, you got Sona who may come up, and then the Skarner with that pull can be very dangerous if he makes another appearance.
Yeah, no, Skarner, he's definitely getting that point in the game where he's going to be extremely aggressive. He has the early Shirelias,
yes, he does.
Which is always a nice build onto Skarner. It's usually the first big item that you have. So that movement speed is going to be devastating. So we'll see how they can pressure it. Nocturne, he does provide a lot of counter initiation, so it's a safe pick. But I don't know. We'll have to see. Right now, mTw, they're 2K or just a little over a K down, but it seems like they're actually kind of in control of this game right now because they're able to get their champions farmed. They're not being denied out of the lanes at all, and then they're stalling off against Legion's early aggression.
Yep, and also notice where the gold is going for both of these teams. There's a little bit, slightly more of an even spread for mTw than there is on the Legion. Wild Turtle actually has a good chunk of Legion's gold, which if he does down in the middle of the fights, which he is a very squishy champ, that could go to waste. Wildcard being primed just in case mTw decides to come on in, but they will not be using it. They are just trying to get the damage on the tower, push the lane, move on out, and grab that. But meanwhile, Balls here, they are still going to contend with DemonLoL, firing off missiles in defense, and it's just a 3v3 push back and forth. mTw and Legion here in mid.
Yeah, and I'm a little bit surprised that neither team has swapped out of this, setup. But the big thing is that Legion, they know that at this point in the game, Rumble's actually going to have a nice little advantage over Malphite as far as just 1v1 is concerned. If they get the TF or Nocturne gank, then yes, Malphite can get kills, but Malphite can get kills in any lane that he's in. So they kind of want to pressure that some more. Legion is pushing down the bottom turret, though, so they're going to take care of this. On the other hand, for mTw, Rumble's doing fine top against Corki, so there's no real reason for them to change up that lane either. So they're getting themselves farmed into that mid game. TF, actually, the first big item he's going for is a Lich Bane, which is kind of unusual. You actually don't have that much of a damage increase when you go from Sheen to Lich Bane. Sheen actually has slightly more damage before you have a lot of backup ability power. Yeah,
but you might as well get it now, invest later. If you have the gold, you might as well go ahead and finish it. And remember, there is a little bit of AP built into the Lich Bane as well, so that does help. But now we got a little bit of a standoff here. Everyone right in front of the dragon. Wild Turtle got the yellow card primed, ready to go. But here's the thing, though. If mTw, they are in a pretty good position to actually push up mid if they really want to. And now Legion, they're deciding to go for it, starting up on the dragon. Xmithy is ducking in and out, and I don't think are they going to look for the engagement. You do have Sona there, out on the outskirts. Muffin getting there is a flash in. Together, you bail down onto Wild Turtle. Rumble going to be done in response, and there you go. Tia's going to go down really quick. Lou going to be the next one to go. Exhaust going down on the Laudomortis. He's going to have trouble getting away. And Cruiser, will he be able to take someone with him? Yes, does get the Ezreal, but goes down in the process. And now DemonLoL wants the suicide and manages to get what he wants, but that is a 2 for 4 there for mTw. If Laudomortis isn't careful, he can go down too.
Yeah, and there's a 3K gold advantage, or 2K gold advantage for Legion right now, but all of those issues that they have to deal with in team fights that we've already discussed, it was a real struggle for them. Laudomortis coming down can actually dissuade this dragon a little bit. Xmithy, he will get pretty low, so Skarner does kind of struggle with dragon, and he's going to need Rumble for that backup, but they should be able to get it. The big thing was you saw Skarter, Xmithy with the flash in, gets the pull onto TF, absolutely shuts him down in the fights. Then the AoE, MTW just instantly vaporized Legion. They were able to win that fight very easily. Now, one of the nice things with that Lich Bane, TF actually ulting in there right in the middle of the team, burst down Xmithy. Xmithy's almost going to go down. The Glitter Lance picking him up, and Legion's turning this around. Skarner was able to pick up that dragon, but in the meanwhile, MTW, hopefully
things are okay.
Didn't deal with that fight.
But it's funny because he saw Muffin Cutie actually get on that ridge, and it's just like, oh, where's my I think he's just trying to like, oh, Lattimore, don't chase me. I'm going to flash over this wall. By the way, I'm recalling.
Yeah. And I don't know, just really nice play from Legion there to turn it around. So one of the nice things with the Lich Bane, I don't remember the exact number. I think it's like around 200 ability power before Lich Bane does more damage on the proc is what I mean than Sheen does. However, he does give himself movement speed and magic resist, both of which are very difficult to itemize into. Magic resist is a little bit more easy. You can get an Abyssal Scepter or something. But having that movement speed, it will help him keep him alive. In the meantime, we're back into the game, and Balls, he'll go down pretty quickly. Right in the middle of the team, they are able to pick that up.
That is a shutdown coming in from Legion. A little bit of a, it was a delay getting in there, but they came back and they got it. So Legion, now, after cleaning up that one, they were not able to get the Dragon, but they were able to roll up, get those kills. And Arya, wow. Yes. Baron there on the 19th minute, and I think the damage is actually there. You do have the Wriggles under Nocturne. Mandatory Cloud gonna see what's up, and he realizes, oh man, this is bad. The ult coming in from Malphite. Ezreal will not be able to grab a kill, and there you go. Vlad going down right in the middle of the pit. Aftermove may actually be able to make something happen here. You got a lot of chance here on Legion. They are very low. They do need to alternate tanking here on this Baron, and this could be very much like what happened with Dynamic in World of Lee here. Game 1, you did have the jungler tanking a little bit too much, but Aftermove right there on the outskirts. And Wild Turtle's going to be able to grab that one. Xmithy yanking Loud Immortus out of the pit, but not able to capitalize. Muffin Cutie is there as well, but his ult is not up yet.
Yeah, MTW didn't have the damage to follow up there. Mandatory Cloud, he went down right before his ultimate came up, so it was on cooldown. If he had waited a couple of seconds, he actually probably would have been able to 5v1 them almost, even easily with Ezreal. They would have picked up all those kills. Like, that was very close to being a 5-for-0 ace in MTW's favor. But he went down before the pull was there. They were able to chain their CCs, which was just absolutely huge. Being able to burst him down before he could pull. So that's really devastating for them. Now, Legion, 5k gold advantage. And even though they had lost the previous fight, being able to win that one, being able to take the Baron was definitely a really nice play from them. A really aggressive early Baron. And we'll see how they can continue to push this lead.
And look how they're itemizing. You did have that Lich Bane on the TF before, but now he's got that elusive large rod.
So much damage.
He's gonna have a boatload of stuff with him. And also, look at Cruiser. The Frozen Heart is going to be vital in dealing with Ezreal. Slowing that attack speed is going to be so important.
Yeah, and now the way Legion is going to tend to run their fights is they need TF and Corki to be safe in the back. Corki's very safe. That's why Corki and Ezreal are just such huge picks right now, because they're, they have a lot of damage. They're really strong in lane, but they also have a lot of survivability. So he's going to be fine. But Legion, the way they're going to tend to run the fights is try and kite out some of the damage from MTW. As long as they can keep Wild Tortoise in the back, and he doesn't go down, they should be okay. But then Cruiser, Malphite can actually hold the front line very well. So, Malphite just engages. It keeps people off of TF. So that's the big thing, is Malphite is kind of counter initiation to protect the TF, and with that movement speed, from the Lich Bane, he should be pretty safe. But they still are always going to have to be aware of the movement speed that Xmithy's going to have with Sona, with the Shurelya's. If he can flash in alt TF, maybe they can win a fight quickly. But Nocturne engaging mid on Muffin Cutie, he drops very quickly. He gets off the ultimate, but nothing helping him out there, so he will go down.
There you go, the flash just for safety there from Anubis. Does not want to be pulled, but the big point in that fight, Legion, they see bot lane. Oh, Aphromoo is down alone farming. That's our time to go. We got to get in there. We got to get a kill, and they got it. They secured it. Flash in from Xmithy with nothing to follow up on it. He will not be dragging anyone into turret right now, unfortunately, and this allows Legion to still keep their push. They can just wait for the next wave, clear the next one that comes, and try and plug away more damage at that turret, which unfortunately is not as much as I think they'd like to see.
Yeah, just barely not in range, wasn't able to get the follow-up on the TF, and so now all of a sudden, MTW is in a really defensive position. They don't have a good means of engaging on TF because Sona doesn't have the ultimate. Xmithy wasn't able to get the engage, and so Legion can just constantly kite them out and poke them down. So with Corki and TF, They can constantly wear them down underneath this turret with that Baron regen as well. mTw very quickly is going to lose this poke battle. So, you know, we'll see at what point they're going to go back, but they're probably going to lose this tower in another 2 waves.
Yeah, and they're not getting as much poke on down as they'd like to. That Skarner will always be a huge threat. If he can get that critical pull onto someone, that could really turn the fight around. But Cruiser, his ult is not up yet. It will be very, very soon. It's just a matter of seconds. And you know what? Legion, they know it. They want to see if they can't go ahead and fish out that initiation here from mTw, because surprise, Malphite ult is now back up, and they can have it for him if they want it.
Yeah, they have a short little window where Malphite ult's up and Sona's ult is still down, so they definitely want to try and pressure that. I think they're probably going to just jump on this tower at this next minion wave, so mTw has to back off. Yeah, they're actually just going to give it up to him, so they were kind of wary that his ult might be up. TF actually porting down bottom as well, so they can actually continue their push. They have another minion wave coming, and they actually will probably be able to take this turret before mTw can
really good coordination. There's about 15 seconds left in this timing attack until Muffin Cutie's ult is actually back up. But you know what, I think Legion, they did what they wanted to. They managed to push the wave, they managed to distract, they managed to get mTw actually away from, you know, where they wanted to be. It's like, okay, now you're all bot, which allows us to actually go ahead and move anywhere else we need to, or even give you time to recall. Baron buff now gone, and now it's just a matter of where do you go from here. Zonia's Hourglass being picked up there by TF. He will not be focused down. He'll be a nice little convenient gold statuette whenever he's being focused down. You know, training on Corki, he's building all of that damage. Malphite's getting even tankier. He's got that cloak. He's got that belt. And you know what? It's he's going to be a very, very difficult frontliner to take down.
Yeah, magic damage does do well against Malphite, but having that much HP, it's going to be tough for them to have enough follow-up damage to take him down. So, you know, we'll see how they transition out of there. Corki's ahead of Ezreal as well. Wild Tortoise trying to get the stun. He does hit the slow and the Muffin Cutie, bursting him down pretty quickly, but they will back out of there. Dragon is up, so they're going to transition over there. Wild Tortoise a little bit out of position, though, but he should be fine. You know, he's going to be able to regroup with this team, and we'll have to see how they can pressure it, but Legion is definitely really far ahead in their builds right now, and Nocturne going for the Aegis really helps his team out against that AoE damage, but also he's going to be able to, you know, dive in a little bit more aggressively and still survive.
mTw knowing that Legion was actually at the Dragon. You're trying to push mid, and you saw Smithy there's like, Loudamortis is here, guys. Do I pull him? I'm not so sure. I don't quite know if I want to. Here comes Nocturne ult. Who's going for? Mandatory Cloud going to be the target. The Fear Proc going down. But look at this man. Oh, balls out on the outskirts. Unfortunately, will not be living through that one. And Cruiser, there's that combo. There's the Malphite ult. Followed up by the Lulu, keeping everybody popped up. The pool, the Vlad will be emerging dead. And there you go. Latimore's out. He wants to pursue. He gets the Fear down onto Aphromoo. Muffin Cutie going to be focused down as well. Smithy wants to try and get that kill. He gets it. But
absolutely
there you go.
Beautiful fight from Legion, and it all started off. Rumble is incredibly squishy. He was trying to get in with the rest of his team. He was split off from the rest of his team, and so in his mind they were fighting. And so he ran up. He got caught off by the TF. They were able to chase them down. This inhibitor's going down, so there's you know, nothing that can be done there. But just really fantastic play, and they were able to keep TF alive. Like right now, mTw has no means of engaging on TF, despite the advantages that they had earlier. And so TF is fine, and then Cruiser with a follow-up ultimate, and then that double knockup, like you said, with the Malphite into the Lulu.
That's sexy.
That's definitely what you like to see, but they were able to take that down pretty easily. Yeah, we'll see how they can, you know, continue out of this, but mTw, they're really struggling right now, and you know, Ezreal going with the Triforce, he doesn't quite have enough damage. It's a very strong item, but he doesn't quite have enough damage by himself to take down the members of Legion. Against those kind of tanky members, you kind of struggle with the Triforce. And then, even though Vladimir and Rumble are pretty deep into their builds, because of how far ahead Legion is, they can start building more and more defensive, and then you know, mTw will very quickly not have enough damage to take them down.
I mean, just look at DemonWell. He's a full item up right now onto Ezreal. He's got that last Whisper. He's going to be shredding through all of that armor coming on in.
Oh, but the pull on the Inubish getting caught out of position. Aphromoo picking up that kill.
Man, that
definitely not what they want to see.
mTw needed that huge. And look what's back up. Baron has respawned. mTw does have a man advantage, and they could try and pressure this. There is a ward in the pit. If they engage upon it, Legion will know. But Legion's like, you know what? We may be down a man, but we need to keep this pressure up. If we back off, we're just opening the door. We're letting mTw just go ahead and grab it.
Yeah, and with that Nubish down, it might open up a nice opportunity for mTw to force a fight here. So we'll see. They're really far behind. So that makes things kind of difficult. You can't take advantage of a team mistake like this. TF with the ultimate, actually. So mTw, they're kind of scared right now. They don't have the best vision. They will be transitioning over to Baron, but they catch him out in the river. So they recognize Nocturne and Corki are down there. But Wild Tortoise, in the meantime, pressuring the bottom lane. They will have to back off. They will have to defend against that. And so right now, mTw is just so far behind Legion that if Rumble leaves for that bottom lane, they're probably not going to have enough damage to take out Loudamortis, to take out Cruiser. And as a result, that TF split push, it weakens mTw's team fighting potential.
Yep, and we saw last fight, when you saw balls get caught, how much that Rumble ult contributes to all these team fights from mTw. It is vital. It needs to be present if they want to go ahead and turn this around. But thankfully enough, Wild Turtle killing enough time, allowing Nubish to actually rejoin with the rest of the team. And there you go. Now you're full five force. Bot lane is actually still pushing pretty decently. You got the wave to support. You can swoop on in, take out this tier 2. Xmithy, you cannot defend this on your own, and this one will go down real quick. Yeah,
with the tower, they're going to, or with the minion wave, they are going to take that pretty easily. It's kind of difficult for them to poke down turrets against the AoE that mTw has, but we'll see. If they can force fights outside of the turrets. Having this much map control, though, if they start warding up mTw's jungle, they can just completely deny any potential farm from mTw. So there's not a real good method for mTw to pose a comeback, because of just the great initiation advantages that Legion have. The fact that they have Nocturne, TF, Malphite, all these great initiators, and they are going to transition to the top lane. The tower is going to drop incredibly quickly. mTw doesn't even have a chance to respond.
Imagine, if tower going down that quickly, imagine how fast Baron's going to go down if Legion manages to get the right opportunity. And this might very well be it. Yes, the mTw actually fallen on back. There's a lot of wards in there, but Legion, with that damage, they could take it down real quick if they really want to, but they're actually going to full on back, and you got mTw actually swooping on in. They're making their way in. Their jungle is warded. Legion does know they're on their way over, and they may. I don't think they will, but the opportunity is there, and so actually just getting out. Muffin Cutie does have the oracles, is looking to clear the coverage.
Yeah, and so they can continue, Legion right now, they can continue to, pressure mTw a lot. They want to keep all the lanes pushed up to the base, and by doing that, mTw, they don't have opportunities to leave and ward, and that's going to open up opportunities for Legion to pressure that Baron. So TF, in the meantime, split pushing down to the bottom lane. Legion, they could actually pressure this. So that with the Oracle on Nubish, they are clearing out this pit, and they are actually going to force this Baron fight while TF is split pushing.
Yeah, it's the distraction play there. It's like, well, you're gonna fight us at Baron, or you're gonna let the TF push there. Ezreal ult come on in. He wants the vision now. He's got it. He knows Legion is there. But here's the thing, though. Wild Turtle, with that ult, he can rejoin. He can get right in here with a nice, convenient yellow card and make things bad. Ball's there with the ult, only getting Cruiser, and it'll be fine. And now, while mTw is here, they want this Baron. Loudamortis coming down in. Ball's gonna be first one, and there you go. The Malphite with the Lulu to follow up once again. And now Balls, he's in retreat. Demon is actually getting focused down here, but there you go. Malphite going down. Corki going down. Rumble going down, and Mandatory Cloud will also be very, very close. Nubish gains on here, but there you go. Baron actually going to be digging by mTw, but look at Twisted Fate. Look at the Wild Turtle going to town.
Yeah, 2 inhibitors down for that Baron exchange, and Loudamortis walking into Aphromoo will go down himself. He gets off the fear, but Aphromoo just barely able to pick that up.
It's a race.
They are stalling, and that's the big thing. They're stalling. The mid inhibitor is up, and he's going for it. Nubish is going to go down, but
can
Wild
you get
Turtles,
there?
He takes the second Nexus turret. There's no one back yet. Here's Sona. Here's Vladimir. He's pressuring the Nexus. It's at 2,000 HP. The flash in from Vladimir needs to get enough damage. He's just not barely able to finish the Zonias, but he can't finish it, so the flash as well. Almost, just barely not able to grab it.
A valiant effort. That almost got it.
He probably could have turned around and picked up that inhibitor again after respawn, which would have been a better use of his time, but trying to finish it off, that cheeky bastard.
Wow.
And Wild Turtle, everything that Legion's done has been fantastic.
So,
except for losing the Baron.
Except for losing the Baron and, almost getting the Nexus kill.
That last Baron fight was really interesting because Rumble, he actually threw off the blind ultimate, hoping to catch some of Legion in.
Yeah.
They weren't caught in. but as a result, they were really pressured off the Baron, so they all kind of left. The Baron was already very low. They know that they couldn't face off against MTW's AoE damage inside the Baron pit. Legion would have very quickly lost. So MTW, as a result, they were able to take position. Then Ezreal was very safe the entire fight. So Aphromoo was able to get off all of his damage in the back line. They weren't able to pressure him, and there just wasn't enough damage follow-up. So even though MTW got very low, like if TF was there, that would have been a one fight for Legion. But they without him, MTW was able to pressure it. Now, with an inhibitor down, the second one almost down as well, the mid back up, Legion has a lot of map pressure, but having the Baron, MTW can stall out pretty easily. So we'll see how Legion can try and pressure this for, to see if they can pressure for the win.
Yeah, and as soon as that Baron goes down, objective is once again here for Legion to go ahead and retake those inhibs. And with both Nexus turrets down, that's going to leave. that's a vulnerable position to be in. MTW. I mean, if you have an inhib down, you are at risk. Period. So even though, MTW, they have the buff, sure, but they can't really do quite a whole lot with it. And Legion can still exert their pressure here while they can. Granted, yes, the Nexus is actually regenning the longer they take, but they're in such a huge position right here.
Yeah, and so they are going to zone them off of this mid turret. They do have to watch out that they don't allow an engage in that backline.
Yeah.
They need to keep TF alive, but they've been doing a nice job of kiting so far. And Inubish is actually playing pretty close up to the front so that he can zone them off a little bit. He does risk himself going down. However, if Skarner uses his ultimate on Lulu, that's a huge win for Legion, because then they're going to have the follow-up with TF, and they can just slowly wear down that inhibitor every time they walk up. And eventually, there's actually a minion wave momentum building up in the bottom lane and in the top lane. So eventually, they're going to have to back off. But the Rumble ultimate, the Skarner ultimate as well on the TF. Malphite with the initiation, then Sona with the counter initiation, and actually Ezreal very close to going down, flashes over the wall, and Corki is fine in the meantime. Skarner does take down TF, and so MTW in fantastic fashion has won this fight. Cruiser going down in the base, but in the meantime, Vladimir was able to zone off both Lulu and Corki. So MTW wins the fight. The big thing was the initiation on TF, and Legion not able to take an inhibitor or a tower.
I'm genuinely worried. I am genuinely worried here now for Legion, because they had such a grand opportunity, and now they're with all these fights, MTW is slowly but surely catching up in gold. There's every single one of these fights they're managing to edge out. It was a 2 for 3. It was a 2 for 3 advantage MTW in that fight. They managed to hold on to their inhib as well, and I think now there's going to be enough time killed here with that. The bottom inhib may actually respawn. All that minion pressure on top and on bot is now being relieved, and I don't know, it's a bit of a misstep.
Yeah, so we'll see how MTW can hold off, but they're starting to get into that later portion of the game where they can do very well. Big thing though, Wild Tortoise, his flash is coming up, and he kind of wasted his flash when he was pushing down the Nexus. He used it to try and get in those last couple of ticks when he didn't really have the damage to finish it off. That last fight, a big part of why they lost was that TF went down so quickly. So if he had the flash up, he could have maybe gotten out of there. We'll see, how much that'll impact the fight. Getting a Quicksilver Sash could definitely be huge for him, but I don't know. We'll see if they can, pressure in still. They've lost a lot of their advantage. MTW, the Baron is down though, so that does open up some opportunities for Legion to maybe not lose that fight. The big thing though, Baron, he gives you a lot of damage, but it's not necessarily how much power it gives you over the fights, it's the regen. And the fact that Legion couldn't poke them down against the Baron buff regen. Now that it's down, Legion can maybe try that slow poke with TF and Corki to get them an advantage coming into a fight.
Pings from MTW are actually going down by their own blue. They've got that inkling. They have that ward right there in that bot road, and Legion are trying to pick a fight. They're trying to see where they want to push. Nice ward coverage also from MTW, just in case the wave is pushed up. They have a little bit of vision there on Legion, but now it's just a matter of where can Legion go from here? They do have to retake the bot inhib. It has respawned. Xmithy, great coverage there. He's got an Oracles on his own, and Skarner getting very tanky. Frozen Heart and the Randuin's Omen when he gets in for that pull. He's going to throw off that active. He's going to throw off that slow, and things are going to be a little bit harder for Legion already. And here goes Xmithy. He's going to destroy his buff and the Soda speed buff. Who's he going to grab? He's stunned out there. He's not going to be able to do much. Ezreal coming on in, but Cruiser and Loudamortis is actually separated from the rest of the team, but Mandatory Cloud will actually get focused down, almost go down to Welterl on his own, while Welterl in his pursuit of Vladimir does get caught out by the Sona. by the Ezreal.
Yeah, and Xmithy chasing down Loudamortis. He won't be able to escape there with the slow that Xmithy has. Is able to pick up that kill. And the big thing, that last fight, Mandatory Cloud, he single-handedly destroyed Legion. And the fact that he was able to engage in the back line, mTw have really strong initiation. With the Rumble and Sona, they can force a fight. And then Mandatory Cloud just running straight at them. And with TF, his stun was down because he had used it on Xmithy. That allowed Mandatory Cloud to walk right back in the middle of the team.
Yep.
His AoE just absolutely clean sweep Legion, and as a result, they lost that fight. Mid turret going down though. Afternoon, come on, finish it off. So they're gonna back off.
You're gonna let the Scorpion finish it for you, but come on, be polite.
Just barely didn't finish, but they will back off, and I don't know. We'll see.
mTw though, they've held off for all of those inhibitors. They're back up now.
Yeah.
Legion, they almost finish it off. Wild Tortoise, not that long ago, Wild Turtle, he was almost able to grab it, but mTw, with their AoE and with their late game, they're doing really fantastic job.
It's too much to contest with. It really is. But if Legion can manage to get the jump on mTw, if they can get the initiation on their terms, if they can even edge out this Baron, something may still happen. But at the right now it looks like the throw may very well be in effect here. mTw now, they're going to go ahead, they're going to start on the Baron. Ward in the pit is now gone, and at Legion, they're now collapsing. Twisted Fate is not with the team. He's going to be ulting on in. There he is, right there in front, and right into the ult for Skarner. He's giving himself up, and Cruiser did so in the back line. Wild Turtle does have to use the Zoni's hourglass to go ahead and keep safe. DemonLoL trying to plug out as much damage as he can, but Wild Turtle will eventually be poked down and shut down coming in from Corgi down on the Skarner though, but Cruiser in the back line keeping everyone busy. DemonLoL and Nubish, can you face off against the rest of the team? Flash in, trying to be a hero, but will be for naught. Wild Turtle ulting right into the Skarner ult. That was devastating.
Yeah, and the thing is, Legion, they were way out of position for the Baron, but they did defend against it. So they didn't lose the Baron. There is a big minion wave pushing down bottom, but they'll be able to get back. mTw will be able to get back in time to defend that. And actually, Soraka and Ezreal, they might actually be able to pick up the base turret here.
Sona and Ezreal.
Sona Ezreal, right. So they should be able to pick that up. The big thing is TF is just very vulnerable in these fights, and now you're starting to see they don't quite have enough upfront damage to take them down. So they need to kite, they need to poke mTw down, but mTw, because of these movement speed that Sona gives them, and because of their strong initiation potential, they're not allowing that poke to happen. So they're just forcing the fight with Legion, and as a result, just the head-to-head damage is a lot stronger for mTw. So we'll see how they can pressure it. Cruiser did a really nice job of getting everyone pretty low there, but just not quite enough survivability from Corki and TF, and not quite enough damage from Legion to turn it around.
But just look, it's late game now at this point. Look at Mandatory Cloud. Look at all of that AP that he has. Oh my God. And he's got the cooldown boots too, which is going to just make him that much more of a presence in these fights. You got Rumble. He's got all the damage he needs. Ezreal is a boss with all of that burst. And might as well. The Baron is still there. This time, might as well try to consider it. Legion, you saw what happened last time. Try it again. We dare you. TFL coming down in. There is Australia's pop. Can't expect to get anything from here. Legion, they've scattered completely. They're actually still scattered now. Loudamortis is actually far away. Wild Turtle does manage to get in there. Almost gets grabbed again. Legion's completely spread apart here.
Yeah, but it did stall the Baron a little bit, and they weren't really in position to defend it, so they're holding off on mTw. mTw, they should just probably go back and defend it, but they have to be concerned with Legion pushing. And Legion, if mTw decides to go for the Baron, Legion could just straight up backdoor their base, take the inhibitor, take the Nexus as a team, and so that's a serious threat for mTw right now. Even if they don't do it as a team, there is the threat that TF could just do it himself, and so, we'll see. That is a huge advantage for Legion right now. Even though they're really struggling in team fights, if they can stall off and just have one really long protracted fight and allow TF to just backdoor the base, then they could just steal this one away from mTw.
I'm actually not... that could have actually been a fantastic opportunity to do so during that last Baron fight, actually. It's like, okay, mTw, they're here. Now here's my time. Now I can actually go in and actually start up it. It's not up though. It's that he used it. He used it already, and now he's not going to have it. And now the initiation possibilities from Legion are a little bit stifled. But look how fast this Baron is going down. Will Legion be able to do anything about it? No, they cannot. The cover, they just can't get there in time. They just can't do it.
Yeah, so they picked that up very easily. Legion once again not in position. Wild Tortoise pushing down the bottom lane, but mTw, they're going to come back and defend it first. So they recognize they need to push all of their lanes out so that TF doesn't have these opportunities. They still have to worry about the ultimate backdoor. But we'll see. I think that they should be able to just pressure right down Legion's base. The big thing is that they don't stall, because if they stall at the base, maybe that opens up an opportunity for Wild Tortoise to just really clear the base, and that's a serious threat for mTw right now. But you see, they're pushing down the bottom lane. They want to make sure they get some momentum before they decide to leave it.
You do have Vladimortis a little bit far away from team, but he does recall, and everyone's still looking. Everyone's biding their time. Legion, they are in defensive mode. They realize that right now mTw with the Baron is a very, very huge problem. But now you do have the QSS there. Onto TF, he's going to be a little bit safer. QSS actually on the Corki as well. So, you got our two main carries. Hopefully that's going to be enough to keep them out of all this duress and actually get them to do the damage they need to do to turn these fights around.
Yeah, so we'll see. The big thing, though, for both teams right now is to keep all the lanes pushed. So at Legion, as long as they keep the lanes pushed, it opens up opportunities for them, for TF, and it also it gives them vision on mTw. Whenever they can push the lanes into their base, they're going to get vision of mTw, even though they don't have a lot of map control right now. mTw, on the other hand, they want to keep the lanes pushed so that TF doesn't have those opportunities, and they can start working their way into their base. And even with the Baron, it's kind of stalling off of them for a second here, because they're a little bit scared of Legion right now, despite the fact that they've come back from a massive gold deficit. They have the Baron right now. It's only a 4K gold lead for Legion. They're a little bit concerned, but you do see they are grouping up. There is a nice little minion wave pushing down to the bottom lane, and they can transition towards the mid, take that inhibitor, and if they get the inhibitor down without losing anything in return, then mTw will be in a really great position.
Yeah, it's just a matter of actually getting there. Nice ward coverage also coming in here from Legion defensively. They know where mTw is. They know where they need to be to defend. And yeah, that's the thing too. mTw, they're aware that backdoor potential is there. Oh my, Wild Turtle. Is he gonna Rambo on in? He's gonna Rambo it. He's gonna try and race this. He's going straight on in. The mid and him.
Mortis, he has to back off. Mandatory Cloud almost going down the middle of the team. The perfect Zonius will stall it up, but he does go down. And Legion actually is looking really strong in this fight. Loud Mortis does go down.
Wild Turtle.
But they need to kite this a little bit. Wild
Turtle
is gonna have it.
Can he do it?
He has the Nexus.
There's so much damage.
Low. They are gonna take it down.
The backdoor. It gets there. Oh wow. Wow, and that is a threat. That is the threat coming in from the TF. He did all the work he needed to earlier before. I can't believe that worked.
Yeah.